hypnagogic phase. When you start drifting off to sleep, there's this short, strange zone where you're neither awake nor dreaming. That foggy middle ground is called the hypnagogic phase. It's basically your brain's loading screen. Your body is clocking out for the night, but your mind is still flickering, running background tests before it fully shuts down. In this state, things get weird, but beautifully weird. You might see random flashes of light, swirling geometric shapes, faces that form and melt away, or hear your name whispered like someone just called you. You're not crazy, and it's not paranormal. It's literally your visual cortex firing off leftover sparks as it powers down. Sometimes you'll feel that classic falling jolt, the one that snaps you awake like you tripped on air. That's called a hypnic jerk, and it's your brain misreading your muscle relaxation as a fall, so it jumps in to save you from imaginary danger. For some people, this moment can feel magical, like the doorway to the dream world. For others, it can feel unsettling, especially if they experience mild hallucinations or a sense that someone's nearby. But here's the thing, it's completely normal. Your brain is just tuning itself for sleep, letting the real world fade while it starts building the dream world behind the curtain. You can actually use this phase to your advantage. If you stay calm and curious, you can start training your awareness here. Just take a few slow breaths, look at your hands, or notice the texture of your blanket, and remind yourself, this is just my brain warming up. That gentle awareness can plant the seed for lucid dreaming later on. Think of it this way. The hypnagogic phase is where reality starts to melt, but you're still close enough to grab the edges. It's the moment before the curtain lifts and your inner world begins to take shape. Once those swirling lights fade into scenes and places, you've officially crossed the threshold straight into level 2, the dreamscape. After that little flickering loading screen of the hypnagogic phase, your mind finally builds something that looks like a world, but it's not fully there yet. You've entered what I like to call the dreamscape. At this stage, things look almost familiar, but not quite. The rooms feel half-built, the colors are off, and the air has that quiet, heavy stillness that makes you wonder if you're the only one there. It's not a story yet, it's just space. Empty space waiting to be filled. Your brain is starting to lay down the background, the textures, the shapes, the mood, before any plot or characters show up. And it doesn't pull from thin air, it uses what you've already lived. Memories, emotions, pieces of real places stitched together into a landscape that doesn't fully make sense but somehow feels right. What's wild is that the brain builds this world using emotion as the paint. Sadness might become a dark hallway that never ends. Peace might show up as an open sky. Anxiety might shape itself into a room that's too small or a stairway that keeps looping. The details don't matter yet. It's all about the feeling. Researchers say this stage is like your mind testing the emotional weather before it starts the story. It takes heavy memories, the ones tagged with big feelings, and smears them across this blank canvas to see what sticks. That's why dreams at this point feel vivid but meaningless, like walking through a movie set before the actors arrive. Most people don't remember this phase because nothing concrete happens, but for those who catch a glimpse, it can feel oddly peaceful, like floating in your own imagination before it hardens into narrative. If you ever find yourself here, the trick is not to chase meaning too soon. Just notice the vibe, the color, the mood, the rhythm of the space. You're basically watching your subconscious warm up its instruments before the song begins. This is the foundation of every dream that follows, the raw emotional layer underneath all the stories, characters, and chaos. And as your mind keeps building, those emotions start to find shape and direction, which leads straight into the next level, the story world. After the dreamscape finishes setting the mood, those empty streets, half-built rooms, and strange skies, your brain finally decides, okay, let's add a storyline. Welcome to the story world, the place where your emotions start pretending to be logic. Here, dreams stop being just scenery and start doing things. You find yourself missing a flight, running from something, showing up late to an exam, or trying to get somewhere that keeps moving further away. The events don't make sense, but the feeling does. That's because this level is all about emotional logic. Stories built not from facts, but from whatever your heart's trying to process. Instead of language or reason, your brain speaks in symbols. Anxiety might show up as a flight you keep missing. Guilt might be a locked door you can't open. Desire could appear as an endless chase, and loss might turn into you searching for someone who never appears. The plot seems random, but it's your inner world putting feelings into motion. They're all recycled from memory. That old friend might show up as a stranger. Your childhood home might blend with your office, and the story keeps shifting scene to scene, never fully solid, but somehow perfectly clear emotionally. Researchers call this metaphorical dreaming. The brain takes heavy emotional data, fear, conflict, desire, grief, curiosity, and turns them into stories you can feel your way through, even if you can't rationalize them. The goal isn't entertainment, it's processing. Your brain is trying to digest whatever your waking self can't fully sit with yet. Most recurring dreams live here, being chased, falling, losing something important, showing up unprepared. They're not random torture, they're emotional rehearsals. Your mind running the same simulation until it feels resolved enough to let go. If you've ever woken up from one of these dreams confused but emotionally charged, heart racing, breath heavy, mind spinning, that's the story world doing its job. You just lived an emotional metaphor. And as your brain keeps building, it's about to get stranger, because soon the dream won't just feel like it's coming from you. It'll start to feel like it's happening to you. That's level 4, the autonomous dream. Now we're getting into the weird part, the point where the dream starts acting like it has its own mind. Welcome to the autonomous dream, the level where your brain builds worlds that feel alive even without you controlling them. This is where dreams start feeling less like imagination and more like reality with different rules. Characters return night after night, entire towns exist that you somehow remember, and things happen that you didn't decide. It's that moment when you realize, wait, this isn't coming from me anymore. It's wild because everything in there is you, your memories, your instincts, your wiring, but it no longer feels that way. The dream gains momentum, people talk back, environments react. It feels like you've stumbled into a movie where the script is already written and you're just along for the ride. A lot of common nightmares live here, being chased, trapped, or frozen in place while something approaches. Those are universal scripts the brain uses to express deep emotional themes: fear of confrontation, avoidance, guilt, loss of control. That's why millions of people report the same types of dreams, because those emotional patterns are built into all of us. Scientists think what's happening here is your brain's 2 layers overlapping. The personal layer, your memories, experiences, relationships, and the instinctual layer, your inherited survival patterns. When they sync, the dream world starts following rules of its own. That's why you can't always change what's happening. Even when you know you're dreaming, your conscious and subconscious are now co-authoring the script. Sometimes these dreams bring back familiar faces, even loved ones who've passed away. And in the moment, it feels so real that waking up almost feels like a loss. Other times, it's pure chaos. You try to run, your legs don't move, and you wake up sweating because the story kept going whether you wanted it to or not. If you've ever had a recurring dream, this is probably where it lives. Same location, same characters, same emotional tone, because your brain keeps reopening the same emotional file until it's done processing it. The lack of control isn't failure, it's actually the framework your brain uses to make meaning. So if you ever find yourself here again, don't panic. Observe, let it play out. The dream is showing you how your deeper instincts interpret life, not to scare you, but to teach you something about what you've been carrying. And then if you're one of the few who stay aware long enough, something even stranger can happen. You realize you're dreaming. You become conscious inside the dream. At this point, your mind has done something incredible. You're asleep, but suddenly you know you're dreaming. You've crossed into the lucid frontier. This is the stage where awareness wakes up inside the dream. The moment you realize, wait, none of this is real. And the world doesn't vanish. The walls stay solid, the people keep talking, and the sky still burns gold. It's the most surreal kind of consciousness, because you're awake, but inside your own imagination. For some, it's pure magic. You can fly, walk through walls, breathe underwater, or talk to people who don't exist, and it all feels completely real. Every sound, every color, every heartbeat in that world is yours to explore. It's like getting temporary access to the God mode of your own mind. But lucidity isn't always freedom. Sometimes it's too much awareness. A lot of people describe realizing they're dreaming during a nightmare. They know it's not real, yet they still can't escape. That's when fear takes shape. Hostile figures, distorted faces, or a dream that loops again and again, like you're trapped inside your own reflection. Those moments happen because your brain isn't built for full control, it's built for balance. The dream world reacts to expectation. If you panic, it bends toward fear. If you stay calm, it starts to soften. That's why experienced lucid dreamers use a simple trick: expectation control. If something's chasing you, imagine it's friendly. If you're falling, decide you're flying. The dream listens to belief more than commands. And then there's the strangest part: false awakenings. You wake up, sit up, even start your morning routine, only to realize you're still dreaming. You wake again and again, each time thinking this must be real, until you finally snap out of the loop. For some, it feels like hours. For others, it's seconds. Either way, it messes with your sense of what awake even means. Scientists say lucid dreaming happens when a small part of your prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of your brain, reactivates during REM sleep. Basically, your logic wakes up while the rest of you is still dreaming. That's why you gain awareness, but not always full control.